Morning, Matt. Tom Peregoodoff, President, CEO of Apollo Silver. We've got the Calico Silver project down in San Bernardino County, California. Earlier in the year, we announced a maiden resource of 166 million ounces of silver in that resource. And since then, we've been getting on with it.
You have indeed. Okay, so we've even got some assay results, which is a blessed relief in these times. Okay, well, talk us through the press release, and I'm kind of keen as to what it actually means next.
Absolutely. Well, look, why don't I just sort of jump to, again, some of the headlines, again, the number of holes. All the holes intersected silver mineralization above our cutoff grade. You can see some of the intercepts in there. I mean, I think people might be they're starting to expect these numbers, but 137 grams over 77 meters. We've got 107 grams over 73 meters, and all of these are shallow, high-value silver ounces. Okay, the key thing that we have learned this is our second release of assay results, so total of 21 holes out. What this first phase of drilling has really done for us is a few things. First, it has absolutely validated our 166 million ounces of silver maiden resource estimate, where the results correlate extremely well with the block model. And this gives me a tremendous amount of confidence that those inferred ounces are going to be converting into a higher resource category measured or indicated. And it's on the back of that you start doing your engineering and permitting work.
Okay, but that kind of is interesting to me, compared to, I interview a lot of companies every week. Okay, I hear lots of different stories, lots of different versions of what's going on. And it's kind of clear to me in this environment, the companies with money have got options. Then it comes down to the question of, what do you do with that money? Do you hunker down? Do you string it out? You're getting on with drilling.
Correct. And we will continue to get on with drilling. We're in a hiatus right now, driven by health and safety issues. It's hot down there. I mean, it's 43, 44 plus. So we shut down for 6 weeks to give the drillers a break. And it's also giving us time to incorporate all the learnings we've had from this first 5,000 meters. And as you point out, Matt, if you've got a treasury, if you've got a simple, smart work program, you got to get on with it. But spend that treasury wisely. And so what we're doing is we're going to be incorporating the learnings. We know a lot more about the geology, a lot more about the controls on mineralization. And we're now able to take that forward. So we had planned another 5,000 meters of drilling to commence around mid-September. We're going to be cutting that back because we can, not because we have to, but because we now know enough that we don't need to do some of those holes that we had planned. And that, to me, is just smart capital allocation.
Okay, but talk to me about you're learning stuff. You're telling me you're learning stuff and you're getting on with stuff. You're not cash constrained in that sense. But to what end? At what pace? What do I now know that you're going to be able to do when we sort of come out of this kind of dip that we're in?
Look, when we come out of this, we're going to have an advanced resource. Okay, so we will have much more silver in that measured and indicated, which is really going to start to allow people to put a real value on us, okay? Our ounces right now have been in inferred, and there people are still, there's inferred resources and there's inferred resources. A lot of that risk is going to be removed, and it's going to then allow us to get on with our engineering studies. So coming out of this cycle, we're going to be very, very well placed, I think, to really make a step change in our valuation. On top of the drilling, Matt, the other risk that all projects have got is around metallurgy. And that program is well on track. I've been saying since day one, we'd have results out late Q3, early Q4, and we'll meet that time frame. So, as we advance through this period in the market of uncertainty, the market may be uncertain, but we're getting a lot more certain about the Calico project and the value that is down there.
Right. Okay. It's kind of matching what you thought in terms of the block model. Okay. So that's good. Have you changed your strategy or your plan as a result of the data that you're finding matching what you thought it would? Does that encourage you to go faster?
What it does is it as I said, it's encouraged us to relook at that 10,000 program and optimize it, which gives us other capital to do with other things. Has it changed our strategy around what we want to do? Absolutely not. No, we want to carry on. We want to press on. I think our shareholders expect it. I don't have shareholders that expect us to take our foot off the pedal, and just because the markets have gotten a little jittery.
I know, but we've talked in the past about, Jupiter coming on board, and they're now 11% plus type shareholder. The institutional side of things, they're fine. They plan for the long term. Their expectations aren't, for, shitting to the moon or anything. But you still have a kind of retail component here who, are nervous about the marketplace. It's risk off, right? It's cash in hand.
Absolutely.
And quite a few people, less disposable income, less discretionary spend. So that's going to change the way that junior mining gets funded, the way that liquidity works. Are you cognizant of that going on in the background?
Yeah, look, of course, we have to, we've got a spectrum of shareholders. And I think about 23%, give or take, of our registry is retail shareholders. And, there's no doubt that the uncertainty in the market, I think, impacts them perhaps a little bit more strongly. They're not quite as comfortable with that ambiguity. But I what I say to people is, you supported us a year ago, and all we have done since then is remove risk from this project. Okay, the markets haven't responded how we had all hoped that they would, but they will when we come out of this sort of cycle. So now is a great time to position yourself in Apollo and other stories that are out there like us. We're on sale right now. We've done nothing but increase project value, yet the share market's not reflecting that, but it will.
Okay, well, let's talk about where the risk is, perceived risk is, because there's perception versus reality. I think is true always, right? And it's whether or not there's some opportunities there. So perceived risk is obviously the markets are nervous about what's going on in the economy. There's also what's going on with precious metals. It doesn't seem to be behaving normally compared to historical behavior, and then you've kind of got the jurisdictional risk too there. So you've kind of got a treble whammy, haven't you?
Yeah, look I can't control the market risk. Okay. The market's going to do what it's going to do. I can do what I can to manage the project risk and de-risk that project. And that's exactly what we're doing with the free cash flow or the treasury that we've got. And of course, then there is this perception versus reality. And for me, that's, I think, where the real opportunity lies. People look at California and they say, resource development can't be done in California. And to those people, I say it's a little bit more granular than that. And you've got to look at California on a county by county basis. And I can tell you, San Bernardino, I encourage all the investors to go have a look at their planning commission website, front and center. We support responsible resource development in our county. They know the impact that it makes on the sustainable growth of their county. Okay. They supply all of the aggregate and almost all of the limestone for the construction industry in Southern California, which everybody knows the magnitude of that. Okay. So, I would encourage investors that believe in that premise around reality, perception, there's opportunity in there. Do your own research. Don't listen to me. Okay, do your own research.
Talk to me about the taxonomy, because we've seen some commodities successfully sort of segue into being reclassified, right? And I think silver has, in the background, sort of muttered quietly about application in solar panels and so forth. But there's a look, without wanting to be accused of greenwashing conversations, let alone allow companies to greenwash their responses. It's, do you think silver companies have done a good job of trying to say, look, insert themselves into this new kind of EV thematic and elsewhere, energy thematic, green energy thematic?
No, I don't. To be perfectly frank with you, I don't believe that as a whole the industry has done a good job at promoting ourselves and our role in, as you say, the EV thematic, the greening of our energy. And I can point to, for example, the white paper put out by the U.S. administration silver is not seen as a critical element, okay, a critical mineral. All right. I think that's a mistake. I think that, as people start to understand the importance of silver in this brave new world as we move forward, I think that the industry needs to make sure we're promoting ourselves properly, and that I think that the regulators, the strategy makers, policy makers need to take a step back and just really understand how important silver is already and is going to continue to be.
Okay, I think that's be a really interesting conversation, but one that I've been expecting to come down the line. It hasn't really sort of got a kind of consolidated narrative going on between all the silver developers or producers yet. Well, look, can we talk about one aspect there, which is obviously silver price. Okay, again, if I'm an investor, I look to that and go, crikey, I literally don't know how to interpret what's been going on with the price of silver.
Sure. Look at if we take a step back, it's between kind of 2015. Say up to 2019, 2020, silver kind of traded in that band between $15 to $20 an ounce. And it was pretty consistent through that period. COVID hits, there's an uplift of all commodities, okay? And silver was no different. And for a period of a couple of years, silver traded, between a range kind of 25, somewhere between 20 and 25. They definitely did a leg up. Obviously, with the macroeconomic climate that we find ourselves in, everything, investors are afraid of. We know inflation is here now. Everybody's worried about recession, and so all commodities have had really come down, and silver is absolutely no different. What you generally find with silver is we fall faster and harder than gold. However, the flip side is also true. That when the cycle does turn, I think we generally respond more sharply. And from a percentage basis, we do tend to respond more strongly. And I think with this narrative around EV, I think in this case, when we do come out of this, that's only going to add further impetus to the recovery of silver, and strong silver stories and investors that are in those strong silver stories like Apollo are really going to benefit from that.
And do you think silver typically reacts the same way in terms of that response in the market? Because I would describe it historically as being slightly erratic. When it moves, it really moves. The trouble is, you've got to work out which way. Or do you think now that because of this kind of, they may have done a good job at this kind of inserting stuff into the EV thematic, do you think there's going to be a more muted response to the way that silver recovers?
I think it might smooth some of that volatility that you speak to. Okay,
matureness.
There'll be that base load of demand, so it won't be seen purely as a precious metal. And again, I don't think we've done our as a group. I don't think that we've really done a good job at promoting that aspect of silver. But I think we will. I think we're starting to, and I think that'll smooth out some of that volatility.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see a slightly more mature response to inserting yourself into that ecosystem for sure. Well, look, I just want to catch up on the news around the drilling. It sounds like all going according to plan so far. Question of what happens next. Answer today. So appreciate your time today, Tom. Speak soon.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Bye bye.